Number 1. In this question, you'll be asked to give your opinion about a familiar topic. After you hear the question, you'll have 15 seconds to prepare your response and 45 seconds to speak.
Do you agree or disagree with the following statement? It should be mandatory for children to attend school until the age of 16. Use specific examples and details to support your opinion.
You may begin to prepare your response after the beep. Please begin speaking after the beep.
Track 2. Number 2. In this question, you'll read a short passage about a campus situation, and then listen to a talk on the same topic. You'll then answer a question using information from both the reading passage and the talk. After you hear the question, you'll have 30 seconds to prepare your response and 60 seconds to speak.
The university campus does not have sufficient parking spaces. You will have 50 seconds to read a letter in the university newspaper about the parking issue. Begin reading now. Now listen to two students as they discuss the letter.
I just read the letter about the school's parking situation in this week's paper.
I saw it too, actually. I think he was right about the parking problem. Every day, I see drivers circling around looking for spots before giving up and parking on the street since the lots are full. But having vehicles parked all over the street makes things more dangerous for people on foot, you know.
I've noticed that too.
I mean, drivers can't see when pedestrians are trying to cross the road because a bunch of parked cars are in the way.
Yeah, it's pretty bad.
And another thing is, there are several areas that could be made into parking lots, like the university has some outdoor facilities, such as the huge outdoor badminton court, that simply don't get used.
You're right. It's always empty.
I play badminton myself, but I never use the outdoor court since there are two indoor ones in the sports arena.
Exactly.
And more importantly, an outdoor can only be used in good weather. A parking lot, however, is useful every day.
Now get ready to answer the question. The woman expresses her opinion about the proposal described in the letter. Briefly summarize the proposal and explain the reasons she gives for holding that opinion.
You may begin to prepare your response after the beep. Please begin speaking after the beep.
Track 3. Number 3. In this question, you'll read a short passage on an academic subject and then listen to a talk on the same topic. You'll then answer a question using information from both the reading passage and the talk. After you hear the question, you'll have 30 seconds to prepare your response and 60 seconds to speak.
Read a passage about brood parasites from a biology textbook. You will have 45 seconds to read the passage. Begin reading now. Now listen to part of a lecture from a biology class.
All right, let's get started. I assume you've all read the passage about brood parasites, and there are two interesting examples from the world of birds. Okay, the first is a common and widespread species in North America, the brown-headed cowbird. The brown-headed cowbird does not build nests and instead lay its eggs in the nests of various songbirds. If the host bird does not reject the egg, some recognize the foreign egg as an imposter. It will incubate the egg and feed the hatchling until it is ready to leave the nest. This is disadvantageous to the young of songbirds because the cowbird egg hatches earlier, and thus the cowbird chick grows faster and aggressively eats more at the expense of the hatchlings of the host species. If the cowbird fledgling gets too large, it can even push the other birds out of the nest, causing them to perish. For the next example, I'm going to move down to South America and talk about the black-headed duck, which is the only known species of waterfowl that never builds its own nest and relies solely on others for incubation. It usually lays its eggs on the nests of other water birds. However, the interesting thing about this brood parasite is that its young leave the nest soon after hatching and are able to fend for themselves at a very young age. Therefore, the presence of a black-headed duckling in the host's nest does not seem to have any adverse effect on the reproductive capacity of the host organism, which does not have to feed and take care of the duckling after hatching. In this case, the parasite is not harmful to the host family.
Now get ready to answer the question.
Using the points and examples from the lecture, explain how brood parasites behave.
You may begin to prepare your response after the beep. Please begin speaking after the beep.
Number 4. You'll now listen to part of a lecture. You'll then be asked to summarize important information from the lecture. After you hear the question, you'll have 20 seconds to prepare your response and 60 seconds to speak.
Listen to part of a talk in a biology class.
All right. A good way for animals to avoid detection by predators is to disappear entirely. This can be done by perfectly resembling the background or by appearing unlike what one actually is, both of which represent forms of protective resemblance. Now, let's take a look at two examples. Some animals have the ability to temporarily change their appearance according to variations in the environment, and one of the masters of this is the peacock flounder. This bottom-dwelling saltwater fish has the remarkable capacity to alter its coloration so that its body perfectly blends into the background. The process is known as cryptic coloration, and this ability can make the fish, well, disappear. You see, the peacock flounder has special skin cells, and it selectively releases pigments to individual cells on the skin to match the colors and patterns of the ocean floor. Exactly how it achieves this is a complex combination of vision and hormonal activity. In fact, we know that vision plays a key role because fish that are blind or with damaged eyes have difficulty mimicking the background. And what's really impressive is the speed. Experiments have shown that these fish can transform from visible to invisible in a matter of seconds. Next up, an organism that has permanent patterns on its body that makes it appear like something else is the leaf-tailed gecko. This arboreal species, that just means it lives in trees, is native to Madagascar, and as its name would suggest, it possesses a tail that looks exactly like a leaf. Its body is often a mottled brown color, so that the entire body of the gecko looks much like a small twig supporting a decaying leaf. And along the upper side of its body and extending into the leaf-like tail are lines that appear almost identical to the veins on tree leaves. Any potential predator that happens to wander by looking for a meal would think the little gecko was simply part of the tree and would therefore ignore it.
Now get ready to answer the question. Using the examples of peacock flounder and leaf-tail gecko, explain two ways that animals use protective resemblance.
You may begin to prepare your response after the beep. Please begin speaking after the beep.